So here we are. It's September 2025, and we've made it through the summer. Um, I call this I've been saying the sun is setting on the summer of 2025 when we saw amazing low prices hit the market and lots of distress. And I think that we can now work back to the goals of stabilizing. And here's Brian Lilly is also joining us from Middle West Distillery. So give me a moment. Hello, Brian. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for the invite. Sorry, I was a little
Uh,
late.
no, it's all right. Everyone seems to be a little late today, so we're kind of making it happen. And so let me just say, we've got a number of people here who have been on this before. Brian is new. I invited him. Um, and so I'm going to actually start with Brian introducing himself. He comes from a background in MGP, experience there, and he's now I guess that's a virtual set because you don't
Yeah,
actually
I'm
work
not sitting
at
there. Yeah. That's in my home gym behind me. You see a treadmill and stuff otherwise. But no, that is a picture of the we have two distilleries in Columbus, Ohio for Middle West, and that is the original smaller craft distillery, the upstairs.
Looks nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful building. I've seen pictures. I haven't been there, but that's on my travel list soon.
Yeah, no,
So Brian, is head of sales for Middle West, and I guess he can probably speak from frontline experience about. We were just starting to talk about the summer of 2025, uh, and it was the moment of hopefully the low point in things like sales and pricing. And what's your take on where we are right now in the market?
yeah, no, I mean, from go backtrack a bit. Prior to MGP, I was with RNDC with the distributor in Kentucky. I live in Louisville, Kentucky myself, and commute, once a month or so to Columbus, Ohio. But I was with RNDC in Kentucky for 10 years. Then I went to MGP for a year and a half, and then I've been with Middle West now for a year and a half. So I do have a sort of a full view of what is going on, and talk to a lot of people still at RNDC. Obviously RNDC is going through troubles as well, um, but my biggest thing is I've seen, in terms of where we were at MGP, sort of controlling the price of aged product, trying in effect to hold it up, back in 2023. um, and then now there's that bigger shift to there's a lot of people that have come online. That's one thing that I don't think a lot of people who are unfamiliar with Middle West believe, or kind of see us as one of the new players as well, like Whiskey House and Eastern Light, and there's just so many. But that's not the case. Middle West was one of the original uh, distilling, contract distilling partners. Was started in 2007 and was found, incorporated in 2008. So we do have some older products, some older barrels that are available. So the reason I say that is because I see now the shift in all these, whiskey houses and such that are coming on and taking that model to where MGP had a stronghold on pricing, could essentially hold the price up. All the new players are sort of making it a more competitive market to drive the price down, and that is good for the buyers. I mean, it's obviously, I think, good for competition, but what it's done is by driving the prices down so far that they have, it's become a just-in-time market. Now, obviously, brands have slowed down, which is constrained cash. That's leading to a just-in-time market, but it's also the new players driving the prices down, which makes it, why are you going to tie up a lot of money in new fill when you can buy a 2-year-old barrel for $1,000? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
a lot of people, a lot of brands strapped for cash are really transitioning just back to a smaller quantities. We're just going to buy 20 barrels today, 100 barrels today. We're just not ponying up to lock up a bunch of cash in either new fill or aged product to sit.
I think the there's that's I think that's very accurate the small buys are what's happening. And it doesn't make sense to tie up your capital for a long time with new fill, with one exception. I think because there's also been cutbacks on
Right.
new fill production, that in 2 years from now, we're
Right.
going to wonder why there isn't any 2-year available.
Correct.
So there's that argument to be made. And I will say that when it comes to the new fill, the problem that most of the producers have is that a couple of key players are out there just trying to keep their stills operating at full because they're big brands.
Right.
And so they are making new fill, which 2 years ago we were talking about it being $1,200 a barrel. Um, and now the new normal is 600 or less. And I've just put it out as a feeler because I got first info on it. But this unnamed player, which I'll not name because we're recording this, they're about to do a big effort to sell the juice and rent the barrel.
Mhm.
So that means that new fill costs will be like $300. And then the buyers will have a contract directly with the cooperage, and they'll pay $5 a month to rent the barrel. And then the cooperage gets it back in the end. But that is an amazing opportunity for people to buy, because that's basically a zero interest financing. It's still under $600 a barrel, but you don't pay for it all. You pay, it's basically like paying 50% now and 50% later.
Yep.
So
So
it's layaway,
layaway, kind of, yeah, yeah.
layaway barrels.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it's taking to say, okay, maybe I should put some, because the point is that you can turn around now. It used to be, look, I was on the front line of this. I was selling huge volumes in 21 and 22 to these big brands because they were panicked that they weren't going to have, or they wouldn't have the ability to get what they needed when they needed it. Well, now that's the opposite, right? You can get whatever you want and get it at a price that was less than you paid for it before. So what's the rush?
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know how that's all trickling down to, well, Vanessa, you don't really buy, you distill everything. So you're not really,
I don't buy anything.
yeah, yeah,
My barrels are all mine, so they're all my juice.
yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I should, because it seems like this
Well,
market is
I will say
so inexpensive.
you can't produce for those prices.
Right.
And that's the thing.
No,
Most
not
smaller
at all.
producers can't even, that's not even an option. It's still, your buying power is not the same. So it's a different market. And it may, you're right in your case, and you don't have to commit to these huge high minimums that used to be the case. Used to be 1,000 barrels was the minimum.
Yep. 3 years.
How
Now,
many?
well, it used to be about 1,000 barrels was the minimum
Yeah.
for each
When
of-
I left in order to get a contract with MGP, it was a 3-year commitment of 1,000 barrels a year at $1,000 a barrel, depending upon the mash
Yeah,
bill.
yeah.
And
Well, now,
there were only like 15 people that could do that. I mean, smaller distilleries laughed at it because they said there's no reason, like, we can't do that. And MGP knew that. It was basically, the comment was, if anyone's going to buy a 1 or 2 year old barrel, it needs to be from us. And if we're selling new fill, then they're not buying 1 year old from us, right? So it was basically just minimize the number of people that could afford new fill. That led to more buyers of 1 and 2 year.
yeah. Well, now it's a very different story for them. And their latest thing is to penalize anyone who doesn't buy from them by tripling the storage rates,
Right.
which is interesting to see how they'll play out, because that's got to be a significant part of revenue for them.
Oh yeah.
And there's people, I don't know of anyone who's going to keep their barrels there
I
if
can't.
that's subject to that,
Yeah.
including yours truly. So, I just bought for a client. We just bought a bunch of MGP this week, and it's going to be moved right out as soon as, don't bother putting in any storage account. It's going right out the door. So
One thing I've also learned that MGP did not offer, and I know there are a few distilleries out there that do offer it, Middle West being one, is the loophole of low wines. So a company that has a distillery, that distills their own product. There are ways to lower your cost by having a place like Middle West sort of start the process, mash the grains, run one cook, run it through the still one time, but before it goes to the doubler, take it off as a very high congener, low wine, ship it
Low
to,
wine, yeah.
yeah, ship it to
Yeah.
a facility and have them rectify it.
So they'll do a TIB. I'm doing that with the distillery in St. Croix. So I have a guy I'm consulting for, and you know, cane is he has 160 acres of cane sugar. Cane is not gonna last.
Mhm.
So I just go there, do one distillation, make it a low wines,
Yep.
and then I can bring it over. And then I still get to call it, Caribbean
Yeah.
rum
Right.
because it says one distillation and it tastes really, really good. So I forged a relationship with him. So I'm looking to get my DSP there since he doesn't know how to distill.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a Vendum, he has a 500-gallon Vendum pot still, and then he has a strip and run, but, you know, uh, I'm going to use that. And he has the actual acreage, 160 acres of cane. So, and it's from St. Croix. But yeah, that's a good idea. Who's doing this? Midwest. Let me write that. Midwest. Middle West.
Middle West Spirits in Columbus, Ohio. And not, and
Okay.
not and not to make it, I'm pretty open book. It's not to make it a Middle West commercial by any means, but I know for a fact that Green River does it in Kentucky as well.
Wow.
There are options. I'm not sure if Pete does it at Southern or not, but I know MGP did not. It was not something that they offered at all.
Interesting. So Chris, let's turn to Chris, because Chris is on the beginning of his journey. So where are you guys with your build out?
Yeah, we're still waiting for town approval actually at this point. They have to basically put a new law in for the zoning. The property that we were at was zoned for agriculture, and to be a distillery there, you'd have to qualify as agriculture by the New York Ag and Markets. And we're not going to be using basically 51% of the ingredients had to come from their farm in particular. And at least at the early stages, our plan is to source the neutral grain spirit. So we'll not be able to do that. So the town is on board. We just have to go through the process of them writing a new zoning law that allows a distillery on that property. So
Remind me, where in New York are you?
we're in a small town called Pine Bush. It's in Orange County, New York, Hudson Valley, mid Hudson Valley area. And we're going into a property that is an existing winery and vineyard. But we're not going to be, business partners with them. We're just leasing space, and then, we'll use collective efforts on marketing and things like that. So we're kind of just in the waiting stages at this point. It'll be a little bit before the town gets the law in, and then we have to go back in front of the planning board. Then we can go get our federal, state approval, things of that nature. But we are in the market at the moment with a contract distilled gin that we've had out there for a little bit. And as I was mentioning to you earlier, we're kind of drawing towards the end of the initial run that we did in terms of inventory. So we don't really want to do another run. So we're kind of slowed our sales to just do the existing places that we have. But it's been it's a process. I think it's always a process starting up a distillery. So
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and the fact that you're at least out there nurturing relationships in the market with the gin, it is a good thing, but it is about timing too. You got to be able to come in right behind it with
yeah, yeah, we have enough to carry our existing relationships, but we definitely can't expand much more than we're in at the moment, and that's a very, very small footprint. But we'll get there. We like what we're walking into because it's a property that has existing clientele. We're walking into a place that already has business and they already have people there. And we got a good team behind us once we get up and running. Neither me nor my partner have any real experience in this business prior to this, but we're working with someone who's going to help us along the way, who actually helped us produce the initial gin run, and they're going to help get us set up.
Oh, quick question, Chris. So you guys gonna have a still? You
Yeah,
need a still? I'm
we
selling my
we.
still.
Oh, you are.
oh, you
We
could get
are
it
we are
too.
looking to buy one soon. We should talk about that. I don't
Come
know.
down. Come
Yeah.
down to New
What's
York.
this?
I took it
What's
apart.
what's the size of it?
That one is a 250 liter. So when you
Oh,
hybrid, um, whiskey, gin, you
yeah,
can make your gin. It
yeah.
has a gin basket. It has a CIP circulating pump. It's electric. If you don't have three-phase, I do have a three-phase converter for an additional price because I,
Okay.
I I
For
bought
the
a
low,
three-phase
low price.
converter. Huh?
For the
What'd you
low,
say?
low prices.
For
No,
the
no, no, not no low price. So I mean, it's really, really good. So yes, I did get my still
Yeah,
from China.
I saw your post of it coming in. I saw it.
Mhm.
Did you see my Trump brush in the toilet? Did you see that post?
No, I didn't see that one.
I'm scrubbing the toilet with a toilet brush that looks like 47, talking
Hmm.
about my tariffs, how much tariffs I had to pay. This is just like this is criminal. I couldn't even believe it, but I'm happy it's here. I mean, it's a behemoth,
Who knows? You might get it back if the court rules.
They did rule. I'm
Well, I
trying to
know, but now it's being appealed to the Supreme Court. But
I'm contacting Lola, whoever else out here in Long Island to get my money back. We'll definitely see, but it's here. It's
yeah,
here. I'm glad it's here. And right now I'm having pave work, I'm having pavers delivered. I'm having work done in the backyard area because I got a 3,000 square foot back area. So I'm making that a patio for outdoor events where I'm gonna rent the space. So I have to break. I'm tired of spending money at this point.
it's better. It's more fun to make money than to spend it.
I know.
Uh,
That's what I'm sitting here
well,
doing
so
anyway.
when should we plan our field trip to come see?
November. I'm hoping November 1st, November.
Uh,
Yeah. So we're pretty much done. I just got to get my hubby upstairs to help me set up the
do
still.
all the engineering
Yeah,
and
because I had to take the still down into pieces and mark everything. That was something, and I had to get a hoist. So this one is bigger. So if you want to, Chris, you can contact me,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna post it on ADI soon,
Okay.
and I know somebody's gonna try to come and snatch it up, but it's really, really good. Quick run, like I said. And then if you get solar panels on your building, are you guys PSEG up there?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no. We're Orange
Well,
and Rockland.
you'll definitely save with the solar panels because I'm getting solar panels.
Gotcha.
And you need to apply. You're in the same state with me. Make sure
Yeah.
you contact Teresa and Brian because the New York State has the money that they're giving away to only New York beverage manufacturers.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been in touch with them.
Okay.
Uh, with the state to go through, and they're a little, when they're issuing the money is a little slow, so they actually might do like an accelerated approval for us potentially. So
Yeah,
yeah, we're
because
looking into it.
I put in for solar panels.
Okay.
So for my building, this new building. So I'm patient. I can wait. I mean, I can wait for the money.
Yeah.
Because I'm already done with everything else. So thank goodness for New York. And then we passed
Yeah.
a new law, y'all, just to let y'all know.
What's the new law?
Oh God, I forgot. It's about because our president Brian put it in for it's the New York brand. Now, if you want to be you want to sell in New York, you have to get a brand license in New York if you're out of state. If you're not a New York State distiller or a New York or anything New York, you now have to apply for a brand license.
Does it apply to all the big brands as well?
Huh?
Does that apply to everybody, all the big brands as well?
Yep. Yep. And part of that money is going to come back to our beverage fund. Because there's a lot of people that sell, a lot of companies that sell in New York because New York is easy. They get the marketing license. That's our, the Gills, Brian's big pet peeve, that everybody comes into New York and they get the marketing license, but they don't pay the taxes. But we pay, well, now we're not paying the taxes. We're getting money back because we're parity with beer and wine. But we still have the burden of paying the higher fees and paying for additional stuff as a New York brand. And other brands don't have that, they have a luxury. So now it's a brand license that you're going to have to get. And we're waiting for Hochul to sign it. I'll send us the statute.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Not for you. Yeah. Let's shift the conversation to international impact. Mr. Clancy, hope you've had a good summer and you've managed to navigate the topsy-turvy tariff on again, off again, on again.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one, all right. And there's obviously been a lot of uncertainty around it, and I think the uncertainty has been worse probably for everyone than the quantum of the actual tariffs themselves. So at least now we have a degree of certainty around it, and we'll have to deal with that as it is. But for instance, our importer is most of his business is importing European wine. And he was quite uncertain as to where he was going to be. So the spirits part of his business wasn't the biggest part of his worries. It was more of whether he was going to have a business importing wine or not. But obviously he's okay with where it's landed. We would all prefer if it was 0 for 0. And I think, from our trade association and everything else, the push is still on to try and ultimately revert back to that. But basically, 15% we'll have to live with it and deal with it. So, I think kind of discussions with our importer about how we can minimize the disruption of that in terms of getting our product onto shelf, and that's kind of still ongoing in terms of that discussion. I suppose the other side of that is he's also actually just opening up into another state. He's in Tennessee mostly, and we are also in Ohio through the liquor board. But basically he is also going into distribution into Minnesota. So basically we would expect to be launching in there soon as well. So when I say soon, within the next 6 months. So that's we're not going to get rich off it immediately,
Right.
but it's just another state that gives us another option. And anyway, that's kind of where we're at in terms of that side of things. There's you know, it really has been the uncertainty of it. And from a personal point of view, everyone you meet goes, "Oh, you're in the whiskey business. Or those tariffs must be causing you awful trouble." And literally everyone I meet socially, out walking the dog, go for a pint, and you meet somebody, and it's somebody who would never ask you about the business at all, or have any interest in it up to now, and the first word out of their mouth is, "How are these tariffs affecting you?" And you're kind of going, "Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that."
Yeah,
you know,
just kind of walk the dog.
yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the look. At least it's landed. There's it's obviously caused a lot of issues for bigger brands and brands who are exporting an awful lot into the US. So there has been distillery closures here, and there have been a few gone into receivership and administratorship. There have been pauses on production. Lots of the bigger companies are paused production at the moment. I think what has happened with more of the smaller kind of indie guys, independents who are up and running for a reasonable period of time, they're not paused, but they're maybe cut back production. So they're back to single shift 5-6 days a week instead of 24/7, or instead of double shift 5-6 days a week. So but what's somebody mentioned there about people are going to have gaps in their portfolios in a couple of years' time in terms of stock, and that's going to be the challenge for a lot of the bigger guys, is that there's going to be gaps in terms of stock. So that's I think going to be a challenge that'll be down the line for us. In terms of buying mature whiskey, yeah, there's lots of it available for sale. It's great to be a buyer for it at the moment. The challenge is having money to buy it, and that's the thing. But it's certainly a buyer's market for it at the moment. There are a couple of decent biggish sized distilleries that are up for sale at the moment here. So Waterford would be one. Mark Rainier made a lot of noise all about terroir and all of that stuff, and got himself a lot of notice. And anyway, the distillery went into receivership and is up for sale, and it hasn't sold yet. And Powers Court is another high profile one that is up for sale at the moment, is in receivership as well at the moment, and is up for sale. So the word on the street is that both of those have now been sold, and that there will be announcements on that in the next couple of weeks. So that's those kind of crystallizing out and actually finding buyers will be good from a kind of a PR point of view. It'll be good that they will have moved on and kind of progressed. There's a lot of negative media coverage about whiskey and the spirits industry in general at the moment. Is some particular news
I think a big piece is all these consumption studies, which I think it's overblown for sure. But
Yeah.
there was a UK study that showed like drop to consumption that was the lowest than it's ever been, like 30
Yeah,
something.
no, I mean, there's been stuff like that, but no, it's where this is at is about kind of, it's building on these companies gone into receivership and companies pausing production, and companies like Diageo closed their Roe and Co production, or put it on extended pause, but basically laid off all their production staff. And then there was, I don't know, there might have been 10 staff there or whatever, but there were some very good people there, and they've laid them off. So basically, and there was another distillery in Dublin city centre. So Dublin Liberties Distillery, which was owned by Quintessential Brands. Their brand that you might have seen out there is actually the Dead Rabbit whiskey. So anyway, basically they're gone. That distillery is shuttered at the moment, and they've laid off production guys as well there. And again, so very, very good distiller, a couple of other very good staff working there as well, and they've just let them go. So very short-sighted, I think, on the in terms of those companies. But look, that's the nature of what multinationals and big companies do. They just F
Like
people
a,
around and you know, and it's not won't be their whoever's making those decisions, it won't be their problem because they won't be in position in 3 years' time when they have a gap and when they've no stock. So yeah, so then
but
sorry, go on.
you guys are weathering the storm.
Yeah, I mean we're not distilling much whiskey, we're only distilling a small bit. We're still in our very small premises. We're still ducking and diving and doing lots of low down and dirty stuff and just, doing producing contract gin for hospitality bars and places that are busy and just keep ordering it regularly, which is great. A couple of interesting things, the eco spirits, so the returnable, refillable 4.5 liter tote, that's starting to move. We're starting to get good traction with that now. So we have, as an example, we have a hotel group who have they have kind of 4 hotels, I think, together in Killarney, which is a big tourist spot in Ireland. And I think there's 10 bars across the 4 hotels. So they're ordering by the pallet of that.
That's
And
great.
it's kind of a,
Is
you know,
everyone aware of what the eco spirits? We've talked about it on this call, but Brian, I don't know if you're aware of the eco spirits concept. So Michael's been on the forefront of it, but it's
yeah, so
basically
it's
this technology that it's a container. So it's like bulk spirits, but it's for the back of the bar. So it's like, rather than pouring by the bottle, you're getting what is it like? Not how many what's the
so
liters?
it's 4.5 liters is what we have here. And basically it's very much analogous to having a keg, right? Except it's for spirits.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it's refillable, returnable, and so basically we send product out to bars and restaurants, hotels, and then when it's empty, it comes back to us. We wash it, sanitize it, refill it, back out again. Each tote, they're called totes, but they're effectively a glass bottle contained within a protective tote. Each tote will do 150 cycles. So displaces 1,000 single-use glass bottles. So the savings, it's very good from an environmental point of view, but it's also very good from a margin point of view. So we can put our premium products and compete with the big guys for pouring volume of product, which is what we've done.
Yeah.
We've chucked out big company products in that hotel scenario, and we've replaced them. So that's kind of the opportunity with it. So it's good. In the US, unfortunately, due to some of your laws, the eco spirits system can only work in 1.75 liters. So it kind of takes a bit of the good out of it because obviously just for it just you don't have as much.
Wait a minute. You said only for 5 liters? How big is that's the
No,
4 liter?
4.5 liters, 4.5 liters in
Okay.
Ireland, which is half of a 9 liter case.
Yeah.
But apparently in the US, you can only have 1.75 liters as a
No.
bottle
Well, not
size.
New York. New York, we can sell bulk. We can sell one
Okay,
bottle. New York, our laws are different.
okay.
So I
Anyway,
sell 5. I would like to get those as well because I sell bulk as well, and I have a program. You
yeah.
know, this
So
as well.
yeah, I'll put you in touch with Z anyway, who's the the one of the original guys behind it, and he's on the ground in the US. So I'll connect you with him, Vanessa. He's been on the call anyway here before. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's doing reasonably well for us. We have another opportunity that literally just came in start of July. Peter, my brother, was going on holidays, and this email came in the morning he was going on holidays, and it's a trailer load of vodka, apparently every month, that is going out to another European market. So we are just about to fill the first one of those, and we'll see when the second order comes in. Hopefully, it comes in a month later, or comes in with looking for it to be delivered a month later. But the first order is being filled the week after next. So that's a sizable opportunity for us. And yeah, look, you have to be you have to be prepared to just jump on these things if they come in, and
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes. So, and that's that's too big for us to handle in house. So basically, we're not seeing any of that. We've just outsourced it to another distillery who has a bigger bottling facility, and they're just going to process it all for us, and we'll make, it's not massive margin, but we'll make a reasonable amount on it, and it's well worth a while doing it. So, like I said, low down and dirty. It's that's what it is. It's if there's something to be done, we'll certainly have a crack at doing it.
Well, good for you. So, Sean, let's segue to you. You can give us the firsthand view of layoffs and in the industry, and what the climate is like out there as you starting to see what your options are moving forward.
Yeah, so up until so on the 13th of last month, I was handed direction change for the company I was representing, and that it was amicable. It wasn't a good fit for me. I did an analyzation of the company, and they weren't in a position to having somebody run national accounts. Unfortunate circumstances, they just did not have the bandwidth to getting things aligned correct, and just didn't have that much sensibility of having somebody with a high value salary on board. And the sense of the climate out there right now, I mean, there's you got to figure pre-layoffs of RNDC, couple 300 people that were in the industry that are looking for roles, with RNDC probably up with senior management included, which they're still there. They're just wrapping up their business acumen at the end of the month. 1,000 to 1,200 people in the adult beverage industry looking for work. So I think interestingly enough, from what I've been told by some HR people, is that they're getting people cheap. So circumstances in the market, though, I believe from some of the deals that I saw that were going out the door by different distributorships, there was some major dumping going on in the marketplace, reflective on serious price points that are going to reflect in the market for, I would say, 6 months to a year. And we all know, not that California dictates what happens across the country, but kind of does. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the build out of breakthrough beverage, and more so even like Reyes, that from the management side of talking with people that are owners and proprietaries and bar managers and orders, there's just a lack of direction of purposeful intent for those people to understand what they're selling. And they're trying to leverage their beer business with, they're doing what Sazerac does with their whiskeys. They're trying to leverage their beer business to gain, leverage the liquor business to gain the beer business. And the people aren't having it. They're just like, no, I'm not buying your beer. I have other partners with other people. So I think it's going to be a reflective period where there's going to be, I believe something's going to have to happen in California. My personal opinion is that Johnson Brothers will be entering the market because they're the only major player. And now that they bought Maverick across the country, that they'll be entering the market and they will be the number 3. They're going to have to merge with somebody or buy somebody out or some type of structure like that. It just makes sense because they're not in Washington or Oregon, but they are in Hawaii and Nevada, and now they're in Arizona, Colorado. So just kind of the way the lay of the land goes. Professionally for me, I'm been applying, but I'm toying about opening up my consulting company again. It seems like that's what everyone who's been laid off is doing. They're becoming consultants. So I did that during COVID. I was really successful. I had 4 brands I represented. It kept me really busy. So there might be a shift for me, and I'll be sending something out to people through the Drinks Professional if I decide to make that movement and change, and basically representing brands here in California and the West in different markets to either for launch and inception launches or takeover management for portfolio brands. So acting as a consultant, but also a broker. So,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
I'm tied in with national accounts. So I do get the submission reports for IMI and other agency platforms, especially the ones in Arizona that have some trajectory of craft spirits. So other than that, that's it. I think, just it's
I'll be
interesting.
interested.
Oh, Vanessa.
Uh-huh. Black Mama hits LA.
I'll tell you
Well, I'm
what,
in LA, but I'm rolling out my rhubarb gin nationwide. So I'm trying because it's selling so well. My
San
rhubarb
Francisco,
gin.
baby. San Francisco. But
Yeah.
I know some of the largest craft like on-premise restaurant groups that actually I know one that would actually love to get your brand in front of them. But yeah, if it's kind of like one of those pickle situations, Vanessa. If I do it, I want to be locked into the brands, and I
Yeah.
don't want to go start chasing some other job. And
Yeah, I
so,
want somebody locked into the brand as well.
yeah,
That way, because I have my Black and Wells. My Black and Wells. I've made it like a premium. I think, Mike, I made the premium Wells. It's an oxymoron, right?
Right. But yes,
yes,
So the Black and Wells, and I have like 7 SKUs. So I made it like a 7 series where they get to pick. You have case minimums, but it's going to only on premise. And it's been selling very well. It's been selling very well here, keeps the volume going.
yeah,
And it's selling crazy in Central Illinois, like in what is it? Peoria,
Peoria.
Decatur. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Who are you?
they
Who are you distributed through there in Chicago?
it's a new distributor. I helped him get started. His distrib, Ashton, and
What
he's
company?
paying. His name of his company is Distrib Resilient Spirits, and
Okay.
he created an app. He comes from the IT world. He's made all this money. He, in tech. So he's
Yeah.
created an app, but he's got he moved back home to Poria, whatever,
Yeah.
Decatur, that area.
Decatur. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's been, carrying my brand for almost about a year now, and he's
Oh
been
wow.
doing exceptionally well. Next week, um, he's going to the Illinois Beverage Association convention or something like that. That's the first time I've heard of it, and he's got a whole table and everything where there's 300, licensees. He's a member, so I've been working with
Tell
him.
him don't waste his money on a table. Go get the VIP suite at the top of the hotel and invite everybody up there to have captured audience.
Too late. He already got his damn table. Where were you
Oh
last
well.
week? Look.
Well, I think Michael set up this meeting, so I'll have to throw that on Michael. Sorry, Michael.
It's so good. It's so good.
No,
No, but I'm
but
gonna reach out to you because that's something I need to pay this mortgage. This new bill.
no,
But
you
I
have to
can
pay. You have to pay a mortgage. I have to pay a mortgage. So that's. I think that's the most important part. Is I'm looking at. I had right when my role with Oak Ridge ended. I had multiple people on the craft side. It's like, hey, I can pay you to do this with contracting with a distillery out of Oregon, just on premise. Whatever you submit, I'll pay you for it. But it wasn't enough to pay the bills, and I couldn't get paid on, until I got the approvals. So there was a
Mhm.
lot of different actionables that were put in place, but I it's kind of wearing on me, and I'm thinking that, I mean, Michael and I've done a couple things, and I have some, Michael, do you know Adam Spiegel
I know that. Yes, I do. I know
with
I don't know him well, but I know who he is.
yeah, with Corning
Yeah.
Company? Yeah,
Right.
so You know, he and I have been in touch for a few years. He's talked to me about maybe I'm going to release my own brand.
Mm,
So that's something that's on the table, but I've always done everyone else's entrepreneurial project.
you want to do your own?
And
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm stupid if I do that. Or I mean, I know the business. I know how to build in the pricing and I know how to get it to market, but there's gonna be some long days.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you.
No,
And
tell me lies.
tell me lies, tell me
There you
sweet
go.
little lies.
There you go.
I'm going on my 14th year. I'm in this industry 13 and a half years. We've been through this before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the earlier, I'm gonna say maybe like the 10 years ago, maybe 10, 11 years ago, we've been through this type of
Yeah.
cycle before. And it's so scary and antsy, but it's also an opportunity
Oh
because
yeah.
this is going to be the greatest time where all of this is going on with all the whiskey and everybody going through receivership. Not everybody, but the big
Yeah.
companies. I'm taking advantage of these opportunities. What people don't realize is that the president revoked the executive order 14036, which I helped get signed by Biden in 2021, which is and nobody's talking about it except for our guild. It's directly related to the beer, wine, and spirits industry, the competition within the American economy, but it was really about beer, wine, and spirits. No, to pay to play. It was, access to capital, all of the things that you've seen that's happened, for Uncle Nearest, for all these companies and all these small brands. We can
Mm-hmm.
get into Total Wines. Now we might go back to status quo, like what it was from back in the day where you had to hustle because
Yeah.
you wasn't getting on the shelves. But if that happens, this is the opportunity because you're able to do so much, especially from California and New York. You have better laws that you can do so much with your brand just in your state. And I use that executive order to help pass the DTC and the parity law here, just in case it got revoked. So everybody else can go back 50 to 100 years. New York is moving progressively forward, and so is California, and speaking to the legislators out there of what they're going to do. So if you're going to do the brand, do it, and and do it out there. This is going to be the time. We're going to go through rough spots between the
Yeah.
next, I'm going to say, 2 years, because we've been here before. Right, Mike? We've been here before. I've been here before.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and in the wake of it, there's opportunities for real success. It's you gotta look for the opportunities now. So here's an example, Sean. We should talk more about this, but I've had a number of conversations with investors who are holding not massive quantities, but 1,000 barrels, 2,000 barrels. And they keep asking me, like, can't we just bring this to market? Why do we have to wait until we sell the barrel? And that's why I've started mentioning this. And I did one experiment which hasn't worked out successfully yet, but I think the model can still work, where we consign barrels to a brand where they don't pay for it until the product is finished, it's finished goods, and it's paid as a royalty per bottle or per case.
Kind of
Which
like a layaway system. You put it down and you pay the rest when it's
Yeah,
due.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, the model worked when we did one calculation. If that barrel was, at the time valued at, the investors might net $2,300 for it when it's, 4 years old. That we just calculated, that's, $9.50 a bottle,
Yeah.
times 250 bottles. And the math works. And these are, individual investors. So it's not anyone with a, with a publicly traded,
Yeah.
reporting. They're like,
Yeah.
so, that's a model. Of course, it takes the resources to then, it's already ready to go in the bottle, but it takes the resources to create the finished good. And I've been talking to a few of them about, well, would you, in addition to, and I just keep asking them, in addition to, being patient to wait for the end of the cycle to get paid on the juice, would you be willing to, invest in an operating fund to do that? And then you'd obviously have a bigger stake in it. So I haven't really played out that, and but it
Yeah.
might be a model to play with. Um,
We've been looking at something similar here, Michael, with somebody who has been steadily buying stocks of Irish whiskey over the last, 7-8 years, and as it has become available, and it's good liquid.
Mhm.
They have it currently all it's all in ex-bourbon casks, AB1s, and we have a need to buy mature liquid, kind of 4 or 5, 6 year old malt and grain. So and they have this. So rather than us going out to the market to buy the liquid in full, we're looking at a similar arrangement where basically we would say, yeah, we'll take some of the stock that you have. We
Right.
have the casks to put it in, and basically, we pay them in full then when and they make a margin on it when we sell the product.
Right. And I think that, like for the next year or two, that's a great alternative. At least I'm looking at it from the other side. That's a great alternative, not just for you to bring something to market without the upfront cost, but for the person that owns the barrel, rather than thinking that they should sell it at, either what they paid for it or at a loss. Why don't, just ride that wave. There'll be a time 3 years from now when nobody wants to do that because all of a sudden, values are now at least reasonable. They're not going to go back to where they were in 22, but if they go back to where they were in 2019, everyone should be happy. That worked then.
And I know this particular company, we have a better idea what to do with it. We have a better idea in terms of finishing casks to put it in, and we have a more clearly defined route to market to put it into as well.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting on it, and so I think it'll work. It'll work pretty well.
You want to do anything with bourbon? No.
Distill it, make neutral spirit out of it or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's available if you want.
Do you
And-
think
and
it's going to go any
can
lower?
probably Brian can hook you up with even more.
I was
So-
going to say there's plenty to go around.
Do you guys think the price is going to get any lower with the bourbon?
No.
No.
I'd
What
say
about?
that I'll tell you why I say that with certainty.
Okay.
The pricing that's now out there that's the lowest in the market is because a major player has chosen to sell it at original cost without regard to maturity.
Right.
We're increasing the prices as of October 1st because they realized they miscalculated and they didn't factor in costs of storage and insurance. And even though it's not factoring mature values, so they're going to be increasing those costs. And those have been the lowest price. So I don't think, it doesn't mean that there aren't individual, especially investors who might just say we're done. I don't think so. And in terms of the new fill, nobody can, unless they want to be out of business. The only ones that can, cut the price to the levels that we're seeing that are low are the ones that are these big companies that just need to keep the stills moving and not to make any money from it. So that's not most sources. Most sources have to make money. Otherwise, they're not in business. So I say that, and I do think there will be more inventory released because there's, you've got between the two receiverships, who knows? You got Uncle Nearest has a ton of inventory that's sitting at
Right.
Tennessee. You've got Garrett County. While they didn't produce a lot, they had purchased a lot of barrels because they were already out in the market with a product even before their building was built.
Right.
There's another fund, barrel
With
stock.
Lard or something.
70,000 barrels. Wait, 70,000 barrels that they have defaulted on storage payments, and so they've done a deal to basically they have a lot of individual investors, and they offered the investors that you can either go along with this deal where this group is going to take on the barrels and add it to their inventory, and we'll try to sell it and you'll see what you get, or you can take the barrels back and sell them yourself through a private. So I've started getting a bunch of calls from these people, and so there's there's barrels like that again, I don't know that those are going to be priced any lower, but they're coming to market. I don't think so. That's the real issue, like those releases. But I just don't see the prices coming down anymore. Brian, do you see it?
No, I mean,
They're down.
because it's putting a lot of pressure on the cooperages too. Because I mean that, from a new field perspective, that is almost 50% of the cost. So there's you can't go below that.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think the greatest deal is this, buy the juice for, a couple $100, $300, and then rent the barrel, and then, why wouldn't you do that? So, yeah.
Sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
So
if you want it, there's a minimum of 500.
500 what?
Barrels.
For new field.
MOQ of 500. No, but we can bundle, right? If you want 100.
This sounds like Liberty Mutual. Liberty.
That's right. Except I'm not going to use any ostrich in the commercial for it. Emu, whatever. I don't know. All right. Anyway, we're having too much fun. All right. Any open issues that anyone wants to throw out? Just questions? I think we've had an intimate group, but a robust discussion so far.
I'm still looking for salespeople. I need people to help me with sales in Florida. Boots on the ground. So if anybody got any connections, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people because of RNDC.
Yeah, I was
going to ask, are you working with a broker in Florida?
Yeah. Yes. Community. Not really a broker, because I'm licensed in Florida as well. Community. What's his name? Community Spirits, Jonathan.
Okay.
So I'm working with him, but he's only doing the warehousing. Kind of do like a Park Street type, but cheaper. But he has some some key accounts out there like ABC. I have national with Total Wines. So I need that to be that's serviced, but I need the other on-premise. I want to get into other accounts around those Total Wines within those areas that I'm located, and I have somebody down there that can do tastings, but I need really boots on the ground, to go in. So I'm not going to Florida.
Yeah, I was working with a lady out there. We did two rounds of tastings in the state of Florida with ABC, and she was really dialed in on her tastings. She actually incentivizes her demo people with her
It's
own.
not Ivy, is it? Is it Ivy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I can look up her name and number, but it's called My Brand Experience.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
she's also aligned with Pinata, so you can go on Pinata and it has a full detail of everything that they do, and they get actually on their phones, they get interrupted dings on their phone where they have to take a photo. It it initiates them to not be distracted, but also to remember to do certain things while they're doing their demos. It's pretty cool.
Mm.
And the recaps that they have are phenomenal. And I think we're paying like, I want to say it's like 125 for 3 hour, or
Yeah, that's good. That's probably what.
Good,
Yeah, that's what
good.
I pay. That's
yeah,
excellent.
yeah. I'll send over, I'll connect you with her. I believe I have
What was the name of the
her on
website?
email. What's that?
What was the site you mentioned?
My Brand Experience.
My brand.
I think he said pinata, not
Uh,
pinata. Pinata.
she uses Pinata as the platform for the detailed response of the demo. So it actually comes out to you in like a really cool format. It's readable, but she
Mm.
aligns everybody, but she's dialed in with everybody from, I mean, all the way from South Florida to North Florida.
Yeah.
Really good to
Thank
work with,
you.
really easy. I didn't want to like her, but I ended up liking her.
Oh my God.
But if you're looking for, for another group, there's EPI, and they're in
Mhm.
13 states, Pennsylvania, New York. They're awesome. Cassandra, she's amazing. She's got a great
EPI. They're
EPI.
just
Yeah.
they're tasting or their sales.
They're a demo company, but I mean,
Oh,
it's good to always have that aligned, especially with they specialize in the total wine development. So they're
You
huge
talked
in
to,
Arizona, but the one girl that I work with, Cassandra, she's located in PA.
have you talked to,
mm.
doesn't she have the teams in Florida?
Who?
Ryan Donatelli, who usually is
I
on
don't
this?
know if Ryan does or not. I thought she was just West Coast.
No, I think
Wisconsin, right?
no, she's based in Vegas, but I,
Yeah.
she does, she has teams all around.
Yeah, I'll have to I haven't reached out to Ryan. You know what? I need to send out everyone a hello note on see what's going on, see if there's any leveraging of this community that we're in. But
Absolutely.
I need to jump off the phone. I have to get professionally cleaned up. So everyone have a great day.
All right, well, it's great to catch up with you, and good luck. Keep us
Yeah.
posted.
Yes.
We'll keep sharing.
I'll
Cheers.
talk to you
luck.
later, Sean.
Bye, everybody.
All right, see you,
Okay,
Sean.
bye-bye.
All right, so I think this is probably a recap. I mean, a wrap up. Been an interesting summer. We didn't really talk about some of the other headlines, which include Uncle Nearest and all that, and how that's playing out. And that's
I did a whole POV on YouTube.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I
I
caught
gotta
that.
send it. Who caught it?
I
You?
did.
Chris?
Yeah, yeah,
All
Was
right,
yeah,
I not speaking truth or what?
yeah. Oh, do you ever not? But yeah,
right, right.
I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. My birthday was last week,
happy
23rd.
birthday.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Mine's next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Early
happy
I
birthday.
birthday.
am a Virgo. That's
I'm a
right.
9/11. I'm a 9/11.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so much that's going on that I'm trying to keep up,
Mhm.
you know. So it's exciting times and scary times in this industry. We're all feeling uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And the uncomfortability is going to be that next pivot
Mhm.
I gotta say,
or
I like the
downfall.
uncomfortability as I'm starting out. Like I think I mentioned this maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago, and you just mentioned this today, Vanessa. This is where starting and being small and nimble gives you opportunity to really take advantage of some of the people that I think over invested based off of trends that were coming off of inflated highs. And
Yeah.
we sat when we were doing this startup of the distillery, we went through obviously all the major consultants out there trying to figure out who we wanted to work with and things like that. And all of them, they give you these plans that are gigantic distilleries over investing early on with the idea that, oh, you're going to grow into this and you're going to wish you had put all the money into it at the onset. But if you don't have the sales to back it up, it doesn't, there's no reason to have all that excess capacity. And I think a lot of that's playing out now. And, I'm excited to see, we talked about this a while ago too, all the trends, and you were mentioning it earlier, the trends in alcohol consumption and the view on alcohol that's being taken by, World Health Organization, at least part of the World Health Organization. And I think the interesting thing is you had IWSR come out about a month ago or so, showing that Gen Z, these people that were told they don't drink, now their consumption trends are on par with every other generation that's ever consumed. It's just, you just gotta weed through the commentary and the coverage out there and look to what you're really seeing trends. And I said, I think it was like 3 months ago, I said, when I'm at tastings, young people are coming up to me and saying, I haven't drank yet, but I'm, starting to. They're all interested in doing it. They just are a little delayed. They came out of COVID. They didn't have social drinking as young adults. And now
They went to college while they were home.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now they're all out there doing it now, and the data shows it. So I think you're right, Vanessa. It's a good time if you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I never really paid attention to all of that because I was a late drinker. I mean, I made liquor before I even started drinking. So, and I didn't really get into, I was making liquor in college, but I really didn't get into drinking until I had my second child. That one is the one that put me, oh, yeah, William, that one, he was colic and I didn't sleep for 5 months. I went through postpartum, and believe me, I needed a drink. So I think I was like 29 at that time. And, even with my adult children who are in their 20s, they're slowly, but surely they're going into spirits. They're coming and tasting, except for my daughter. I think she's always been drinking at the still. So, so she played it off. But my sons, they're really starting to drink, but they're very picky of what they want to drink and they want to be informed. I noticed this generation, they're not drinking the absolute in all of that. Like my kids and their friends, like, oh, call your mom and see what's good out there. They're actually reading up on the information, and that's something that we didn't do. I mean, I just turned 56, so I know we didn't. We just grabbed whatever was on the shelf. But these consumers are educated and they want to be educated. And that's, there's a balance. They're not going to overdrink, but they're going to want to, they are going to drink as they become older. And I think we have to be able to indoctrinate a responsible system for them to look at craft, not the big companies. Look at craft spirits, look at local, look at something better. And that's the key. I digress.
You digress, but the point you made is an important one. What was it that built the whole craft movement and the whole, when it was millennials were driving, it was the audience,
Right.
it was the authenticity of the backstory or the process, and it was a period of, we don't want the big, corporate. And the thing that shifted it is simply in COVID, it was like, it wasn't about craft, it was about grab and go. And it was, what's cheap and what's big volume. And, that's part of the adjustment now. But, I think this whole consumption thing, which I get it. I mean, there's a lot of people who choose to not drink alcohol, but they're still drinking. And so all these beer companies, their sales now are being, supported by their launch of zero alc product. I mean, Heineken especially is like killing it with zero alc beer. And I've been reading that, the growth numbers are higher than, than their main lines and the wine industry, and so, I think that, you know, my wife hasn't had a drink in a year and a half since she had her accident, and so I'm focused on that because we're always looking. What do you have? There's no alcohol on the menu. And at one point, it was like, huh? You know, what? Wine? Doggone wine? What? And well, now, you know, it's stocked, and it's there, and it's on the menu.
The beer
And
category has really figured out the
oh,
non-alc.
huge.
You know, they've figured out how to make a good product finally, and that's, I think, the biggest part of it. You know, wine, I think, is still a little behind on making a quality product. There's something that's
There's a
missing.
couple out there that are pretty good. One of them is
Yeah,
Ethan, the New Zealand one, which apparently is responsible for like 50% of all the volume of no alc wine that's sold out there. And others, yeah, aren't.
yeah, that makes sense because the vast majority of them haven't quite figured out how to make a
Right,
no alc wine taste
right.
good. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot there with that trend, and I think to Vanessa's point with the younger generations, you know, being informed, they're also experientially driven, and that's something that a small brand can give them is, you know, an experience and a connection to the brand. You know, craft spirits doesn't quite have the same battle that craft beer had, right? The craft beer movement could be driven largely on quality and taste profile and all that kind of stuff. You know, craft spirits, the big guys make a good quality product. You know, it wasn't
Mhm.
really hunger for quality per se, as much as there was in craft beer. But we do have the benefit of all the other things, you know, the experience, the story, the connection, and being able to follow the supply chain. You know, they can follow it from start to finish and see where the product actually had all its components come from, and that's something we have to offer, and that's what we're kind of trying to build with our brand as we get out there.
Well, we talk about opportunities, and one of the opportunities for craft brands is that, you know, they can't, their business model doesn't work on the same economics of the big guys. And so,
Mhm.
you know, craft products that are on the shelf for $40, you know, they're not making any money. And they have to charge 70. And the consumer doesn't want to pay 70 for a daily drinker, you know, once in a while thing. But now with costs of juice, you know, contract juice coming down, you know, they can match those costs and they can do something to still make it their own, whether it's a finishing or a blending or something. And you know, there's no reason why we can't see craft brands that can make it at a price point of, you know, in the 30s. You know, maybe not in the 20s, but in the 30s. And especially if there's more direct to consumer opportunities, as you know. And in New York, what they've done a great job with that. Well, the fact that you can, Vanessa, sell, you don't need a distributor. Um,
Yeah,
you know, that's huge, but it does take feet on the street. You know,
yeah. Chris too, because Chris, when you guys open up, you know, you have your brand, and you'll be able to, when you're doing a rectifying, you can sell directly to on and off premise.
Right.
You know, and you can do bulk too.
Yeah.
Let's just say if you're making, like, I'm making by the way, gin is going to be the next thing. I'm just telling you guys, gin is
Mhm.
going to be the next run up. It's
I hope you're
coming.
right. I
I
hope you're
know, because
right. I mean,
I'm making gin.
it was doing it before COVID, and you know,
And
then
then it
tequila
fell
took
off.
over because people at home wanted to make margaritas.
Yeah.
Now hopefully you're right.
Yeah, gin. I'm seeing it
Well,
slowly but surely. Hmm?
the options for different botanicals and different gins have never been greater.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's pretty cool to see. I'm a gin drinker, and you know, I have great time going to a restaurant and saying, you know, what I've never seen that gin. What is it? Okay, I'll have that as a martini. You know, I'll really taste it.
I make a phenomenal rhubarb gin.
I heard about it on this call.
phenomenal. I don't have any right now,
Mhm.
but it's phenomenal.
It's so good that
Yeah.
we can't keep it in stock.
I
Right.
gotta,
So
I have, I have to shoot off here, guys. But
okay.
great,
All right,
great catching up
Michael.
with you again. And I'll put it in the chat there if any of you happen to be going to Bar Convent Berlin in Germany in
Don't do that.
about a month's time. I'll be there on the Monday and Tuesday. And if you do find yourself going, let me know and we'll meet up.
That'd be great.
And if any of you find yourselves coming to Ireland as well, feel free to give us a shout as well. So anyway, with that,
I'll be in your continent next in a week and a half, but I'm not going to be in Ireland.
right, okay.
All right.
Right, well, enjoy your trip, and
Right.
yeah, sure, we'll
Thank
chat.
you.
We'll chat soon. Mind yourselves, folks, and
Yep, you too. We'll see you.
yeah.
See next month would be. I haven't looked at the calendar yet to say when it would be, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it. We'll get
Yeah.
it. All
We
right.
should.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Launch it. See you.
All right, everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for
thank
All right. Thank you.
and,
you, Michael, for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yep. No, I'm glad you made it, and you will keep you on the list for future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mike.
Chris,
Brian.
Bye-bye.
That's it.
All right,
Bye.
Chris. Bye, Mike. Bye-bye.